Mhm.
Welcome to BizChicks TV. We're here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle so you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. Here are your hosts.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Biz Chicks TV. I'm here with one of our favorite contributors, Robin Shimizu, all the way from Sacramento, California. We're going to be talking about happy, healthy habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. Robin, it's so good to have you in the studio. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Terralina, and we're the Biz Chicks. So we always like to talk about health this time of year. And so, what do you have for us today?
So, happy December.
Happy December.
It's crazy. So I was watching the news the other day, and there was a show on Good Morning America,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a female doctor, and she was talking about the American Academy of Pediatrics just released a new report on smartphones. Now I thought, okay, well, smartphones is, yeah, I guess it's a healthy habit kind of thing, but I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was so interesting. And we, Carolina, you and I are in our 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Our influence is more related to our kids and our grandkids,
Yes.
right? And I thought this was really important because we as grandparents, or for the younger viewers, parents,
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of influence over our kids. And this is just shocking statistics. They follow 10,000 kids on an average of age 11, and they asked them, "Do you have a phone?
Mm-hmm.
And why do you have and how do you use it?" So they basically just interviewed these young kids. Turns out that when the kids are 12 years and younger, if they have a cell phone or a smartphone, not a cell phone necessarily, but a smartphone,
Mm-hmm.
that they're 30% more likely to be depressed. This
Hmm.
is at 12 years old. They're 40% more likely to be obese, and
Mm.
they're 60% more likely to have sleep deprivation. So
Uh-huh.
sleep. So it's really, really impacts their health. And you don't think about it impacting their health when they're that young, but it gets worse as they get younger. These statistics get even worse. So and so they're saying you should delay giving your cell phone as long as you can, and they couldn't even give recommendation because it depends on the kid, it depends on the situation where they live. It depends on the parent.
I have a concern about this. Let me tell you why. These
Yeah.
kids also lived through the pandemic when that was all they had was a device to connect to the school, a device to connect with their friends, their family. And now you're telling me that they're depressed?
Now this is a smartphone. We're not talking about computers. We're not talking
Well,
about
a
iPad.
lot of people use that smartphone as a device.
Well, this is true. This is
You know what
true.
I mean? To FaceTime with people, to game with their friends because they couldn't go out to play, whatever.
Well, I think what they're saying is that it's important for us to know that the
Mm-hmm.
smartphones can impact their health and for us to be smart about how we interact with our kids, how we give them what they call green time, where they say it's okay for you to use your phone during these hours, or but you just don't let them have a phone and go willy nilly without any kind of adult supervision. And I think that's
Yes.
what the main to me,
Okay.
that was the main message is that there's parental controls, there's parental influencers, you're setting boundaries, you're talking to the kids, and you're practicing what you preach. So you're not
Mm-hmm.
using your phone, 90% of the time in front of your kid, that you're also putting your phone down and giving yourself a phone break. It was just to me, just so eye-opening about how, um, these smartphones, these kids are getting smartphones at very, very young age, and the potential health impact of that smartphone with that kid. And so they had a really cool thing. The American Academy of Pediatrics put a questionnaire out there on the internet, and it's called Phone Ready Questionnaire. And so you sit down with your kid and you take this questionnaire together to determine how ready is your kid to get a smartphone. So it's also their maturity and their attitude toward it. So anyway, so that was just my healthy.
That is interesting. That's interesting. I wonder who made up the survey.
Well, it was the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Okay.
Who created the questionnaire, and they have it online on their website. And I think they're just encouraging people to take a look at the questionnaire and to start thinking about, when is the right time for me to give my kid a cell phone. And so we, as grandparents and influencers, can at least start this conversation with our grandkids and with our own children, our adult children. So, anyway, so with that, we have a really special guest.
Yes, we do. She's in the studio. She's in our green room.
Okay.
So do you want to introduce our guest today?
I do. I like to read her bio because it's pretty long, but it's worth listening
It's
to.
impressive.
Yes, it is. So with us today, we have Lynnis Woods-Mullins. She is a certified holistic living and wellness expert for women over 40, and she has over 18 years of experience. She's the founder of PraiseWorks Health and Wellness, a mind, body, and spirit wellness company that specializes in educating women 40 and over on their wellness. She's a certified life coach, health coach, nutritionist, and gut health specialist and social media strategist. She is the co-author of Power Up Superwoman and editor and publisher of Wellness Women 40 and Beyond e-magazine. She has 2 podcasts, VIBE, Living and Wellness Journey, all of which air on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and over 100 other podcast platforms. The VIBE Living podcast is rated in the top 8% of podcasts globally. She's also has a YouTube show, Lynnis Minutes, and is signed with Celebrate the Gray Agency as an influencer and a model. Lynnis has a combined social media following of over 200,000, including her Facebook group, VIBE Wellness Women 40 and Beyond, which has over 26,000 members over 40. Okay, Lynnis has just recently launched a new membership site, VIBE Wellness Women Network, that offers online courses, guides, challenges, and 23 wellness and health professionals with a cumulative experience of over 350 years in the health and wellness field, with working with women over 40, and a support group of women over 40 who want to take the holistic approach to their overall wellness. I could go on.
I could go on and on and on and on.
So with that, let's bring on Lynnis so she can tell us what she has for us today.
Sounds like a plan.
Hello. No, please don't go on. It's exhausting to listen to, and I can see I need to update that one again. There's some
really?
There's some things that have changed or that are going to be changing in terms of my emphasis and what it is that I'm doing, and the website is going through, or the membership is going through a metamorphosis as well. Not going away. My 100 members, there was a little lull in November and December for workshops because of the holidays and, people being so busy. But we are busting wide in January with the Midlife Awakening Summit. And I'll talk about that later, but I'm really excited about that. But, I was listening to what you were saying about the cell phones, and I absolutely, totally agree. as a holistic professional, this has been a topic of discussion for the last couple of years in terms of how smartphones are impacting our life emotionally and physically. And there is definitely an impact. And for young brains, young minds that aren't even developed, to be exposing themselves to the blue screens and things like that, we don't even know what kind of damage it's doing long term, but we know it's doing damage in terms of how kids learn. How kids learn doesn't necessarily have to change, but because they have been exposed to these things, how they learn is changing. The neural pathways are changing because of what they're being exposed to. So yeah, it's really interesting. So I totally agree with it. It's not too, I think we do need to sound the alarm. I don't think we sound the alarm enough when these kinds of things happen. But when you just think commonsensically, with microwaves, for instance, what the heck were we thinking was going to happen 40 years later? Thyroid cancer is probably a result of all of that. Other cancers probably too, as well, being tied to microwave use. Anything that makes life simpler comes with it some other things. You just don't make life simpler, and then there's no what's the word, consequence. There is, and we are now beginning to see the consequence. And what worries me is that our current administration no longer values science. They kind of go with what they feel or what they think. How is that? And so now people's lives are definitely at risk. So it's going to be up to the consumer. The information is out there, but it's got to be up to the consumer to find out what's going on. I just heard the other day that during Thanksgiving, there was a rash of people who bought canned goods for Thanksgiving. They opened the can, and what they thought was in there was not in there. And this is because of lack of regulation from the FDA, because they let go of so many inspectors.
Mercy. Wow.
So now we have joined the ranks of third world countries when it comes to
Yes.
Yeah. It's a metamorphosis that, whose time has been coming for a long time. That old saying by Malcolm X, the chickens have come home to roost. And the United States now is facing the consequences of a foundation that was never founded on what was right, and then glossed it over and then tried to tell everybody else what to do. And now our, infected underbelly is being exposed. Wow. But the good thing is that the information is still out there, and you can make your decisions accordingly. And for those people who don't feel that government should be involved in their lives, well, you got your wish, because what's in there now, you cannot trust. Not totally. And I am not dissing MAGA or anything. This is just real facts. This is real facts. The people who are in charge of things around our health are not, they're not educated in how your bodies work.
Yeah, they're not using science-based data.
They're educated in nutrition, and they have let go of all the people who are, or a lot of the people who are. But I was going to share today about the spiritual reset, but what you said, talking about the cell phones, I decided I would switch it a little bit and talk about our brain, and the need for a brain detox, and why we need a brain detox. So I was going to tell you, just maybe real quickly, the 10 things in particular that impact how our brain acts, and then give you a couple of solutions that will help. First of all, this is not to alarm, this is to inform. And this has been going on for years, and people aren't walking around drooling and forgetting their names and everything else. Well, not all of us. I mean, there has been an increase in Alzheimer's, dementia, and our current leadership seems to be suffering from that. But in general, these are all things that we've been exposed to. And what we need to do is figure out, moving forward, what we can do to minimize the exposure, and what we can do to counteract the impact of the exposure of some of these things. Okay. So this is not to harm, just to inform. Okay. First of all, heavy metals, we've always known this for years, that heavy metals are really bad for our brain. They are the true neurotoxins. Okay, they clog the brain, they disrupt the memory, and they increase inflammation. And heavy metals would be things like mercury, lead, and aluminum. Now, we've been talking about mercury and lead forever, but the aluminum is something that we haven't discussed a lot. But using aluminum cookware, aluminum foil, the aluminum in the deodorant, all those things, the dental fillings, tuna, of course, all those things can be consequential in terms of our brain health. Now, you can try to counteract it by eating cilantro, adding cholera and spirulina to your diet, and drinking lemon water daily, okay, because that helps to detoxify your body. And then there are supplements that you can get that have this kind of stuff in it that can help you. Like, for instance, sea moss, which supports the detox and thyroid and gut health type of supplements, because they help get rid of some of the bad stuff that's in the gut that comes as a result of this. Okay. Number two are plastic chemicals. And I know that everybody's heard about the BPA, and people are beginning to make some changes, but these chemicals mimic estrogen, and they disrupt your memory, your sleep, and your mental clarity. And for women in particular who are menopausal, they definitely need to get rid of all their plastics. Okay.
Wow.
Water bottles. They hide in the water bottles. They hide in receipts, the receipts that we get at the store. Stop touching those, midlife women especially. Food containers and makeup, a lot of our makeup. The solution, of course, is to get glass and stainless steel to cook in and to preserve our food in, instead of using the baggies and the Tupperware and the plastic Ziploc bags. You've got to get rid of all of those. Don't microwave in plastic. That's very dangerous. And support your detox with cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables would be things like broccoli and cauliflower. And there are things that you can get that can help you get rid of these kinds of toxins in your body. I have a whole list of products that I sell, but I guess the best way to do is to refer you to my wellness essentials on my site. And all those products I sell, and all those products I have used or my clients have used, so I can vouch. The name of the company is Clean Nutra, and they are excellent. Anyway, going back to the third thing that can cause issues with your brain are mold toxins. Mycotoxins is what they call them. And they matter because they trigger the brain fog, the anxiety that we feel sometimes, headaches, and memory struggles. And they come in the form of, in our HVAC systems, our coffee, nuts and grains, and even leaks. Okay. And the solution, of course, would be to ventilate your home daily. Open all the windows daily to get as many of those toxins that are coming from your HVAC system as much as possible. And you can also use binders like activated charcoal. That can help get rid of some of it too. And also antifungal herbs. An antifungal herb example would be garlic. That's an antifungal herb. That's one way you can do it. And then there are other things you can do that can help you with your digestion detox that will also support the gut and toxin elimination. Another one is pesticides and herbicides. We've all heard this before. They disrupt the gut-brain axis, which is pretty serious because the gut-brain axis really does govern everything that goes on in our body. They damage the good microbiomes and contribute to depression and cognitive decline. They hide in the produce, of course, that these are vegetables and fruits that aren't grown organically, and grains. Tap water is another culprit, and also weed killers. The solution is, of course, to choose organic whenever possible, to do seasonal liver cleansing. And there's all kinds of different liver cleanses that are out there, but I can tell you drinking lemon water on a regular basis is one way. Speaking of water, I keep thinking I can't drink water because I'm on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok. Okay. I'm on live so much of the time to remember, okay, for this particular live, I can do this. For this one, I can't do that. But for you guys, I can do everything. Okay, I can drink. Lemon water, okay? Just
Okay.
right in a glass container, all right? Drinking that throughout the day is a gentle cleanser for your liver as well. Also, the Vox or flame retardants, okay? They release chemicals that harm neurons. They disrupt your sleep, which is interesting, and they cause mental fatigue. And the reason why I say that's interesting is that flame retardants are in our mattresses, all of our furniture, our cleaners, and our air fresheners. I saw something the other day, and I wish I knew what the technology was, because I know it's out there, where I could gone through my TV screen to where they were. I know it's out there somewhere. You can go to the TV screen. I wanted to go through the TV screen and say, stop doing this. The character has this thing about wanting the room to smell a certain way. So she's always spraying Glade or whatever it is. And more than likely, this particular product is probably one of their sponsors, because I noticed whenever they do a wide shot, you can see Tide in the background and other stuff. Okay, which is all bad for you. But anyway, I'm talking about Beyond the Gates. They are a soap opera, and people forget that back in the day, the soap manufacturers were the ones that sponsored these shows. And I guess they still do, because I'm pretty sure that Glade is a part of one of these conglomerates.
Product placement, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's product placement. Well, that product placement right there will kill you over time if you use too much of it, because your kidneys and your liver can only do so much to support you when it comes to, getting rid of all these toxins and stuff. Yeah, because it supports you in getting rid of all the different toxins. And this is just one more thing that you're introducing that you need to stop doing. Again, open the windows daily, switch to non-toxic cleaners, and add house plants, which help bring in fresh oxygen. And then use sprays, if you want them to smell good, that are what's the word I'm looking for? Essential oils with distilled water, that helps, or you can diffuse, in the background. Now, if you choose to use a diffuser, just make sure the diffuser that you are using has a glass container for the water and not plastic, because it defeats the purpose, because that plastic is in the water. It goes up to the steam right into your environment, all those chemicals. So use a glass container that's within the diffuser. Number 6 is hair dye, okay, which makes so much sense. And I know people know that hair dye couldn't possibly be good for you, but some people just can't let go of the idea of turning gray. I mean, I couldn't let go of it too, but I developed, thank God, an allergic reaction to hair dye. And I stopped doing it, I don't know, 20 years ago, when I was 51. So it was more than 20 years ago. Oh my God. 26 years ago, I stopped dyeing my hair. Okay. And I'm so glad I did, because that hair dye goes in the most absorptive part of your body, the top of your head, and it filters down throughout your brain and everywhere else. Okay. And these hair dye chemicals are linked to hormone disruption and possible increase in breast cancer risk. And the thing that's dangerous for midlife women in particular is that you're already heading down the road of hormonal disruption as you get ready to go through menopause and everything else that happens after 40. So to continue to put hair dye just exacerbates those, and you begin to have even worse symptoms, and you're just writing it off to menopause. And yes, menopause is partially responsible, but if you're dyeing your hair, you're responsible too. You're helping that. Okay, so you can use clean hair products, whatever that means. Basically, get with your beautician or with whoever it is you consult with that knows more than you do about the products that use that don't have hair dye in them. And also support your liver after hair dye. Let's say if you just have to dye your hair, support your liver health by doing a liver detox and trying to get as many of those chemicals out of your body as possible. Another thing is the processed food additives, which is interesting because in San Francisco right now, they have legislation. No, it's not legislation. They're suing. They're suing major food manufacturers for basically poisoning their society in San Francisco County for all the additives and flavors and stuff like that that go in the food that a lot of young children and young families eat. This is yes, and this is in San Francisco County, but I would expect in other cities that are
most legislation either starts on the West Coast or the East Coast and then moves across the country.
Right, exactly. And there's some middle America, for instance, that won't do it because of their own political ideologies. But this kind of legislation, if it goes through, is going to save people's lives or improve the quality of their lives. But processed foods, they inflame the brain. Okay, they cause, and that reduces neuroplasticity, which is basically your ability to learn. Okay, and we're feeding this to our kids, all the time. The solution is to eat whole foods, to increase your omega-3 rich meals. Omega-3, if you can't get it in your meals, then take it as a supplement, but that will kind of help with the brain because the omega-3 is very good for the brain. Okay, another thing, stress hormones, that also can impact your brain health. Chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus, your memory center. Yes, it does. Chronic stress is directly correlated to a lot of chronic disease and other ailments that we have that if we were to change our lifestyles, if possible, we could eventually move away from. So there are solutions, breath work, learning how to use the breath to calm yourself down, meditation, journaling, and there's lots of products out there. Like for instance, ashwagandha is a product that I use that helps to lower my cortisol levels. And basically, um, the stress hormone toxicity is actually called cortisol toxicity. There is such a thing where there's just too much cortisol in your system, and it's causing too much cortisol in your system can cause a lot of issues that a lot of people don't realize that the chronic disease they have is directly correlated to their cortisol levels. These are things that doctors don't necessarily tell you about, but these are the kinds of things I tell my clients about, and I put them on self-care plans to help them lower their cortisol levels, to help them even out their estrogen and their progesterone levels, all of that. Okay, dehydration. This is something that kind of sneaks up on you, especially as you age. We have a tendency to be dehydrated. Your brain is 75% water. So dehydration gives you instant brain fog. Okay. So you want to sip water every hour. There's all kinds of schools of thought about how much water. I try to go for half my body weight, but for some people, that's just way too much water. But when you're dehydrated, or you should know. If you find yourself having cravings, if you feel like you're hungry, you just got through eating, if you feel really, really tired, if you've got brain fog, if it's difficult for you to focus, many times you drink 8 ounces of water or start sipping water, those feelings go away. That's how important water is. Also, you can increase your water consumption in terms of how the cells absorb it by using a sea salt or Himalayan salt or Celtic salt underneath your tongue. It's an electrolyte, or you can put it in your water, and it increases your body's ability and your cells' ability to absorb water. And the last thing that's really important when it comes to your brain health and what actually causes the brain major problems is not enough sleep, poor sleep. Your brain detoxes between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And your deepest level of sleep usually comes between 12 and 2. So if you're going to bed at 12 or 1 o'clock at night, or even at 11 o'clock every single night, you're cheating your body's opportunity to get into a deep sleep, but also the brain's opportunity to get in a deeper sleep to be able to detoxify, because we do have inflammation in our brain. And one of the ways to get rid of that, besides lowering our cortisol and talking about all the other things I talked about, is just to get a good night's sleep, so the brain can support you in detoxifying all the things that you have introduced your body to and your brain to in the course of the day. You can create a calming night routine that includes kind of helping you wind down, getting out in front of the green screens, stopping the green screens like around, or blue screens like around 9 o'clock. Just turn everything off if you try to go to bed, hopefully by 10. Also, you can use magnesium, which is help you get a better night's sleep. Reducing blue light. There's so many things. I have several things that I use that have worked for me. Sometimes your inability to go to sleep as a menopausal female is because you have low progesterone. And there is progesterone cream that you can get that's over the counter, because it's not a real high dosage of progesterone, that can help you to get a better night's sleep. And let me see.
I have a question. These humidifiers that we use in our rooms are plastic. Is that a problem?
Absolutely.
Okay,
there are humidifiers. Well, if the container inside is plastic, but there are humidifiers out there that are more like pottery. They're made of pottery. They're made of like stoneware, or not glass, but yeah. And there are some out there. You can, I don't know if the big A is, I can say Amazon here. I don't know if Amazon is carrying around, but they are out there. Sometimes it might be plastic on the outside, but on the inside where the water is, maybe sometimes that will be glass. But start looking for other choices for that. If you can't find another choice, then the other idea would be to get a stainless steel pot of water, to put it on an electric eye somewhere that is out of the way of the child or the sick person or whatever. And then just keep adding water and let that steam fill the room. That's another way to do it. But just using those humidifiers, when a child is really sick, you're probably not thinking about the plastics as being
no.
And the thing is too, I'm an 80-20 girl. 80% of the time I am doing the things I talk about. 20% of the time, not so much. Okay. Can't be perfect, but you can decide what things you can do that can begin to minimize. Maybe it's not the humidifier, but you can certainly work on the water, you can work on the sleep, and you can work on the stress. Okay. You can work on adding the omega-3 if you want to, and you can definitely stop dyeing your hair, or maybe don't dye it as often. You can definitely work on your liver detox plan. What is that plan? Drinking lemon water every day, and then maybe having deeper cleanses once a quarter. So there's things that you can do so that you can still live a life that makes sense in this world that's just unequivocally full of toxins. I mean, basically we can't eat, we can't breathe. Basically, okay. But aside from all of that, there are things that we can do to supplement our toxic lifestyle so that it's not causing as many health problems as it seems to be causing right now.
Very good. Now, Lynnis, we're at the top
I know.
of the segment. I know we wanted to talk to you. You have an event coming up. Would you like to talk to us about that?
Yes, I do. January 21st to the 23rd, I have an event coming up called the Midlife Awakening Summit. And it is a summit about the awakening of what happens to our bodies in midlife as we begin to age. I have a panel of 9 experts. They're all doctors, naturopaths, trainers, coaches, aromatherapists, Chinese medicine doctors. And this in particular is for women of color, and all of our panelists are women of color. Oh, there it is on the front page. And you can see some of the things we're talking about: energy renewal, hormone balance, stress release, spiritual grounding, and emotional resilience. And the reason why approaching this phase of our life from a holistic perspective is that as our bodies begin to change, it doesn't impact just our bodies. It impacts our emotions, our mind, our spirit, all of that. So taking a holistic approach and dealing with this particular part of our lives is very important. And also we want to reframe how we look at this stage of life. It's not a curse. It's not bad news. For the first 0 to 10, or these days 0 to 10, 0 to 14, you weren't having a period. And then from 14 to 45 you were, and now 45 on or 50 on, you no longer are. It's just the stage of life that you're in. And in each stage of life, you come up with the tools and things that you need to deal with that. Menopause does not have to be an indication that life as you know it is over, and that you have to put on orthopedic shoes and a hairnet and sit in a rocking chair and knit.
Thank God.
Gone are those days, okay? I'm 68 years old. Am I 68? I think I'm 60. Am I 67? I don't remember. I think I'm 60. Yeah, I'm 68.
I know we lose track. I get it.
Oh, yeah, I'm 68, and I haven't stopped at all. Have I had some challenges? Sure. And I've dealt with those challenges in a way that makes sense for my lifestyle. The whole thing is to find out what your choices are, because everybody has choices. You don't have to be a victim of menopause. Not at all. You can be a victor in menopause.
Okay, so if people want to sign up, where do they go? Do they go to the website?
Yes, they can go to the website. Our early bird special starts December 8th, but actually I think it's connected right now, but officially starts December 8th, but they can go now. The tickets are very affordable. We have 3 different kinds of tickets that you can get depending on what it is that you want, but actually it won't be active totally live until December 8th, because I still have to write the downloads. But there's all kinds of special stuff they get if they buy tickets early, and it's over a 3-day period. And of course, they get the recordings, they get the recaps, they also get some special downloads, and each speaker has downloads also. But you can go ahead and take a look at the speakers that are going to be there. Those are up now, and pretty soon the program will be up. So, but by December 8th, which is Monday, it should all be done. So.
Very good. I think I had the wrong banner up there. This thing is so sensitive. It talked about join the text to fit. That was a whole different thing.
Oh, that was another thing, yeah. And for those people who are currently members, you guys are getting a 20% discount on any of the different tiers. So I have to make sure I put that 20% discount code in there. It's not ready yet, but it will be.
Lynnis, your timing is perfect. It could be people could buy your summit for Christmas gifts.
Oh, well, I'm rolling out another not a program, but a promotion about giving the gift of wellness. We are in some interesting times right now, and I don't think it's necessarily about the suit or the new purse or whatever. It's about our lives and figuring out how we're going to survive what's coming up. regardless of what side of the fence you sit on, I think more and more people are beginning to wake up and say, whoa, wait a minute. It looks like I'm going to have to fend for myself, because the things that are going on are just, I can no longer not talk about it. And if you want to say that I'm political, then fine, whatever. Unfollow me, please. Okay. The reality is that we are under a current administration that doesn't care about us. They just don't. They care about their pocketbooks, and I guess they're lining them for the families 200 years from now, because some of them have so much money. Why do they need more? But this is just how they roll. In the meantime, we have to figure out how we're going to survive. And one thing that's really important is learning how to live preventatively. We're going to be talking about that, the kind of foods you should be eating, how to figure out what's in season and what's not in season. Try to help with the budget, because I know a lot of people say, well, I can't afford to eat organically. But I kind of feel like, you know what, I get it. But it's almost like you can't afford not to. Because if you're eating that stuff that has all that crap in it, then you're just going to have to be ending up taking more medications and doctors. And with our healthcare system the way it is right now, you're paying for that. It's no longer front and back end. You're paying for it real time for your, lack of not doing the things you know you should do, because you don't want to invest in yourself that way. But I think maybe we need to reset our priorities. So yes, give the gift of wellness, and give them the gift of the Midlife Awakening Summit.
There you go. So
And I like what you're talking about it to women that are 40 that have not even gotten into, their what is that, premenopausal?
Yes. In fact, I really want to get the 30 somethings there, the 40 somethings there, and also the 70 somethings who think that menopause is over. It is not. You are without period, then you are with period, and then you are menopausal. Okay, those are the stages. And the menopausal piece lasts for the rest of your life. And you think your symptoms are gone, they might be gone for a little while, but they show up again in the 60s and 70s. Here's something that's really important. I know you got to go, but this is super important. I got to get the word out here about HRT. In 1991, there was a report that came out that said that HRT basically could cause breast cancer, uterine cancer, all that kind of stuff. And then in around early 2000, there was a reassessment of that study, because the analysis was skewed, because the population that they got this from was skewed. They had a population of women who had breast cancer. Their breast cancer they already had. It was not tied to the HRT. So they changed their whole thing about HRT, but it hasn't been well communicated. But now, as of November 11th, one of the things that the administration has done, we'll see how they're going to do all of this, but that they're definitely right on, is that they have stopped putting black labeling HRT and training the doctors on how to write the script. Doctors who aren't just gynecologists, but also orthopedic doctors. And you know why? Because a lack of estrogen definitely impacts your bone density. And people who are walking around all hunched over, they fall and their bones crumble.
Yeah.
Do you know that could be prevented through HRT? All they need is more estrogen. Your estrogen goes down significantly. And when it does, your bone density goes down. And they're doing the bone density test. They've been doing that, but they haven't been prescribing HRT to help these women. So there are women who have suffered unnecessarily as a result of this. So they're looking at HRT in a different way. It's not just for gynecologists to recommend. It is also for, what's another example they gave? Endocrinology, but there was another one too. There's several other doctors that need the ability, that need to learn how to write the script, because our hormones are impactful to our overall wellness all throughout our lives. It does not end between 45 and 55, or 55 and 65. It doesn't. It goes on for the rest of your life. And I'm adamant about this because I've experienced it myself. My symptoms for menopause didn't start till I was about 67. And as of this week, I am using HRT. And I have never been anti-HRT, but I've always been pro to do what you can holistically. But when you get to a situation where it is impeding your health and you're not feeling good, there were a lot of symptoms I was having, and I did the things and the symptoms would go away for a while. But then I said, you know what? I know what I need to do. It was funny because I went and talked to my doctor, and she wanted to give me this long lecture about, the risk and everything else. And I said, okay, I've never told her exactly what I do. But I said, I'm certified in hormonal consultation, and I work with OBGYNs to talk with their their
Fine.
business about this. So I know what you're talking about. This is what I need you to do. I need you to write this script, and this script. Okay. I know what the risks are. I'm a healthy female. I don't have cancer, never had cancer, but went through this whole thing because they don't like to do it after 65. Okay. And she was like, oh, okay. She's like, oh, good. You saved me some time. Good. Because she was going to give me her whole protocol spiel. And understand the protocol spiel is not because they're not trying to do their jobs. It's what they're required to do. And even though it is somewhat antiquated, because everybody is different and protocols aren't always what we need to be hearing, because you could very easily be the exception that makes the rule. So again, advocate for yourself. Bring your journal of your documentation of the symptoms that you're having, whatever they are. And as soon as they start going into this protocol thing, after you've told them what it is, okay, and they're going down this road that has nothing to do with what it is, stop them and say, that's not me. Okay. I don't know exactly what I need, but I do know that what you're telling me, either you've already tried it and it didn't work, or what you're telling me isn't going to fix what's going on with me right now. These are different symptoms. So just make sure that you get their attention. Sometimes, hey, because they don't have a lot of time. They're running from here to there. Okay. I mean, it's not their fault. So anyway, I got to get this message out because women need to be advocating for themselves. Sorry, guys. I'm way over. Sorry.
No, we are over. Ladies, I just want you to sign up for this upcoming workshop. You're going to need the information, and you can find it over there on Lynnis's website. I put the links in the comments. Hi, Dr. Tachi. So good to see you this morning. Yes. And we just want to make sure that everybody has the information that they need. So thank you so much, Lynnis. We look forward to talking to you again soon. And we're going to find out what we have coming up. Have a great morning.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lynnis. See you next time.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay, so what do we have coming up, Robin?
So next week we have Jill Weston that will be with us. Our chaos with our Calm Your Chaos.
Yes.
And then Lynnis will be back with us in December, and then Christmas.
Oh wow! Who knew? And we say that every year, so we don't know what's coming. But I can remember sitting on the floor in kindergarten and people talking about going to the moon and da 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 da, and where we would be in 50 years. And now I'm sitting here like, okay, here we are, and we're way beyond what we even imagined. So I just want to thank you for these fabulous guests. I look forward to having Jill come and calm our chaos.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh. In the meantime, guys, if you're looking to become a part of the Biz Chicks community, simply text Biz to 33777. Also, you can go to bizchicks.net and become a part of our community. We'd love to share with others what it is you do and how you serve. So in the meantime, thank you again for what you do, Robin, for your dedication. And we've got another year under our belt.
Yes,
so we look forward to 2026 and beyond. In the meantime, guys, have a great day. And remember, it's good to make money in your business. You need to take care of your health because your health is your wealth. So go to the front of your own line. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in today. We trust you've learned something to help you build a more profitable business and take the hassle out of your hustle. See you next time.